In this video, we are going to discuss about the Python. Since this is the introduction part of the Python, so we will cover here the definitions and the basic things about the Python. Since I have written here for the beginners, that means everyone, even from the non-IT background student, can understand it. The very important thing is foundation. If you will see throughout the world, for each and everything, if the foundation is strong, then it's very easy for everyone to build on that foundation anything. So everything needs, especially programming, it needs the foundation to be very strong. Only we have to work hard for the foundation. The rest of the things will come easily. We can understand, we can grasp the things, we can master the things, and there is an immense scope, the huge demand of the Python in the current era. So I will, as you all are educated, everyone is understanding all those things. So I don't need to motivate you for that. Only the thing is just to see what I am doing here, how I will explain the things. If you want to practice with me, you can practice with me and try to understand from the very basic level, because I am continuously stressing on this basic level, because we cannot skip a single thing. If we will skip a single thing, our base, our foundation will not be strong. Now let's come to the point. Let's start today's discussion. That's about the Python. As you can see, I have written here the definition of the Python. Python is an object-oriented, high-level, interpreted, and a dynamically typed programming language. Before we will come to the definition, we will try to understand the two things. One is called the programming language. I'm going to write here programming language, and another is called the machine language. This machine language is also called machine code. We will try to understand the definitions of these two, because before coming to the definition of the Python, we should know the programming language, what is programming language and what is machine language. First, I will tell you this is high level language. High level language. And this is very low level. Very low level. Here, binary numbers are used. That is, only the codes are written in zeros and ones. Here we use the English keywords. English keywords. In this way, this is very easy to handle for the programmers, for the users. It's very easy to handle. Now, I will give you one scenario. Let's see here. If I have to tell the computer, print an image of house. I'm telling the computer, print an image of house, or I'm writing somewhere. It's not possible the computer will understand this, because we know the computer only understands the machine language. This machine language is understood by the computer. So what are the things? How I can write this? How I can reach to the computer so that the computer will understand, then will execute the same. Here the program comes in the picture, which is called the programming language. It may be C, C++, or now we are talking about this specifically, we are talking about the Python, so it's here the Python. Then what will happen to the program? The program will convert the machine language. Then I mean the program is set of the instructions. So I am giving set of instructions to the computer. Instructions to the computer. Then afterwards, the program will be converted. I mean that information will be converted to the machine language, to the machine code or machine language. And once it is converted, here one process is taking place. When the programming language is converted to the machine code or machine language, there is a process that is taking place. This process is either compilation or it is called interpretation. There are two things. I will discuss it later. Interpretation. So far, what I said, I'm telling the computer print an image of house. It is not able to understand because it is only understanding the machine language that is in the zeros and ones. So what will happen? This program, I'm writing the program. Program is nothing a set of instructions which will be converted to the machine code so that the computer will understand and will execute. Once the program is executed, it will give me the output. What will be my output? My output will be the image of house. The image of house. Now here we have to understand it clearly. Once again, in a very simple words, I discussed the programming language and the machine language. Programming language is high level. I will discuss the high level. Also, I will discuss it later. It's very low level. Here it is 0 and 1. 0 in zeros and 1. That's called the binary. And the computer is able to understand this one. Now, when I am telling the computer, I am writing print an image of house. I cannot convert it here in the zeros and ones. It is a very complex task for me. So it's very complex task for a programmer, for a user to write it in the zeros and ones. Now, program comes in the picture. That means set of instructions. Set of instructions which will be converting this message to the machine code. And this process is either the compilation or the interpretation. After this machine code, once it has been converted to the machine code or machine language, it will be executed and my output will be image of the house. Now, here two things are coming in the picture. One is called the compilation and the another is called interpretation. What is the compilation and interpretation? I will tell you the compilation and the interpretation here. Before that, I will explain the definition. I will try to explain briefly the definition. So, Python is one of the programming language. That is the set of instructions that which is high level. Now, let's have a look on the definition. Python is an object-oriented. What is object-oriented? We need to understand. Follows classes and objects concept. It follows the class and object concept. Object-oriented means class and object concepts. I will give you the example to understand object. Now let's see here the object-oriented. What is this object-oriented called? Object-oriented. Object-oriented means it follows the classes and objects. Let's take an example. For example, if you are working in a bank and you know the name of the bank, you know the address of the bank, and definitely in a bank there will be hundreds of customers, thousands of customers. Let's take C1, C2, C3 and C4 as the customers of the bank. Now here is my question. First of all, I'm telling you this bank represents here the class and all the customers, they are here the objects. That means Here in this bank, this is customer 1, customer 2, customer 3 and customer 4. All are having the same bank name. All are having their bank's address same. That means it is making us easy. Once we will enter the class, then we can access the names, access the information of all the objects. This is a very simple and common example. And we can also take the example of the class when we are studying in the, let's say it is the 10th class. In the 10th class, we have different number of students there, and their roll numbers are different, their names are different, their addresses are different, all those things are different, but their school name and their class name is same, their school address is same. If I want to check the record of this, I will check the register of the class 10th, and I will see the name, roll number, admission number and all those things in a one file. So it means this represents here the class, and these all are the objects. So in this way it is class and object. It follows the classes and objects, and it is called the object oriented. So far if you have not understood, it is not clear, later we have to discuss this classes and objectives, because this is the OOPS concept. This is very important concept in this. Now coming to the second thing, the next thing, what is that? Follows classes and objects, is high level, more abstract and easier for humans to understand. That's high level. We will check here what is that high level. Simply high level means it is easy to read and write, because, and also it is abstract. That means it has nothing to do with the architecture architecture of hardware. We don't know what is happening in the back end. We don't know what is happening in the back end. We only know what we are writing. That is the high level. See, comparatively low level is machine language. Low level, that is very complex. It's a very simple definition for this. High level and low level. High level means which is easy to understand, which is easy to write, which is easy to read, and which is more abstract. Low level means which is complex in reading, writing, understanding, and which is less abstract than the other. Machine language is very low level, and this programming language is high level. And also the Python is also the high level, like the C++, Java. The next comes interpreted and dynamically typed. Now let's see here again, this compilation and interpretation are in the picture now. Here I will tell you the things. There are two words. One is called the compiled and second is called the interpreted. I will give you the scenario to understand this much, to understand these two things. What I am going to do, for example, I am writing the first line of code here, then the second line of code, then the third line, then the fourth line of code. If I am writing all the four codes here, four lines of codes, what will happen? The codes will be executed, right? The codes will be executed. But what is happening in the compiled one and what is happening in the interpreted one? For example, if in the line 3 I will get an error. So in compiled one, what will happen? First line will be executed, second line will be executed, third line will be executed, fourth line will be executed. That means all the four lines will be executed, and it will show me 1, 2, 4 are executed, third shows error. Third shows error. So in the compiled one, we are also calling it as compiled language. in the compiled one, what will happen? It will the codes will execute together. Codes will execute together, and in the interpreted one, what will happen? The first line will be executed, then the second line will be executed. Once the error is shown, it will stop here. This is non-stop, this is non-stop, and this will stop here. It will execute first, second, and it will show third is showing error. Third is having the error, then it will not move to the fourth one. I will show you it. It's very easy when I will install the Anaconda, where we have to work the environment for the Python. There I can show all those things. But here I want you to understand the compiled one and interpreted one. This is interpreted. That makes it very feasible. The Python is interpreted one. Here the compilation is not taking place in the Python, and here only in the C compilation is taking place, but here in the Python interpretation is taking place. That means it is stopping while having the error. It will not move to the next step. Now next thing is and dynamically typed. Here we need to understand what is this dynamically. As the word suggests, I will explain here. One is dynamically and the second one is stationary typed. This is dynamically typed, this is stationary typed. Now you can see here, what is this dynamically and stationary? You know, as in the SQL, in the same way, when we write, for example, we write x equals to 1, x equals to 1. That means 1 is an integer. It is taking by default 1 as an integer. And in the same way, if I will write in other language x equals to 1, it is not taking by default. I have to mention here int x equals to 1. Then it can take 1 as an integer. Otherwise, it is not going to take it as an integer. So dynamically is what by default it is taking the integer. If I will write y equals to 0.51, so it will dynamically take, it is a float type data type. Float means when decimal is there, that is the float. But if here I will write y equals to 0.1, it's not in stationary type. I'm talking about the talking of the stationary type. It will not identify the data type. I have to mention float. It is the float y equals to 0.1. So here dynamically typed and stationary typed. What is dynamically? It is taking by default, it is taking this value. It is taking the data type. So it makes it feasible. It makes it very easy to handle for the programmers, for the developers. This is called the dynamically and stationary type. Now again, let's have a look again. Just a quick recap of all those things. I told you about the Python. What is a Python? Python is simply a programming language. If we want to define the Python, you can define it as an object-oriented, high-level, interpreted, and a dynamically typed programming language. It's a programming language. Try to understand the programming language and compare the programming language with the machine language and see how it is working. Programming language is set of instruction. Here our the program is programming language is actually what? That is the Python here. So when I want to change, I want to print an image of a house, it machine cannot understand it. I have to write the program. The program will be converted to the machine code or machine language. That process is called a compilation and interpretation. Here in Python, interpretation is used. That is line by line. It is working line by line. If the error is coming, it is stopping there. It is asking, it is showing the error and it is telling correct the error. Then it will move on and then the program is executed. So this is a little bit a brief introduction about the Python. Now the main thing is these things you can take it from the online. You can understand the definitions of the Python. But the main important point I'm going to discuss here is that the foundation, once again, I will talk of the foundation. If we are from the non-IT backgrounds, we will feel difficulty in the beginning. Once we will digest the things, once the foundation is built, like a railway track, the train, any of the train will run on the track. So we have to understand the basics. I am again stressing the word basics. Never skip a single word. Repeat, let it take time, how much time it will take. It's never too late. It's never too late to make a start. We can start by doing our jobs, by doing our other works. We can give the time to this one. Once it is understood, work from home, possibilities are there everywhere because now the world is becoming, everyone knows, it's becoming digitally. Now it is the age of the AI. In AI, Python is one of the most important tool because it is used in the machine learning, it's used in the data science, it's used in the deep learning, it's used everywhere in data analysis. It is used. And one important thing I will tell you, trust me guys, if you know one of the language, the other languages are easy. Just we need to understand the beginning is very important. Beginning is very important, and maybe for some people it will be like climbing to the Mount Everest. But if we will try, nothing is impossible. Only my message to all of you is that let's start working. The time is passing very fast. If you will learn four things daily, by the end of the month, you will master the foundation, the basic things. Once the basic things are over, then easily you can understand. It's not a rocket science, it's not a big uh, like very difficult one, very complex one. A man cannot understand it easily. We can understand. We have phones in our hands. We can use the chat gpt, ask the chat gpt what is Python, what is programming language, what is machine language, and we can see all other things. Here in my videos you are getting a clue. Yes, something is there, we can understand it. A little bit clue you are getting. I'm not telling you, you just have to see my videos only. You can go through all the videos whichever are present on the YouTube or online resources, chat gpt, everywhere you will see the information. Just gather, just try to understand, because critical thinking is very important. If you will not understand, you cannot make the things. We have to make the things. For that we have to build up the foundation. I hope you are enjoying the things. And for me, if only one person gets the clue, that's more than enough for me. I'm just working on this because I also have the busy schedule. Still, I'm coming and I'm just opening the laptop and trying to make the video, and it's taking me the time to make this, to go there and to schedule how I will start the class. I mean, what are the topics, what are the important things that I should cover. I am also thinking in my mind. I'm trying to deliver in easy way. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.